Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. Now, unlike most of my videos, which tend to be about entertaining and on the game that I'm about, this is actually not about trailmakers and is not as entertaining as my other videos. However, don't click off yet. This is actually meant to be educational. As a kid, I always wanted to know how, planes fly, right? Seems magical. However, now that I'm older, I believe that I know the concept pretty well, and educating people on the subject may inspire someone to pursue a passion in engineering, which I find wonderful. So, without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Okay, so what we have here is a airfoil. Now airfoil is like a cross-section of a wing. A wing would probably be much longer than this. It'd probably be like extending more to the right here. But for the purpose of this demonstration, we're not gonna need to do that. All we need is the airfoil. So what an airfoil is designed to do is to produce lift, right? And one of the ways it produces lift is having higher pressure at the bottom of the wing and lower pressure at the top of the wing. So, essentially, how it accomplishes that is it takes advantage of Bernoulli's principle. Now, you don't need to memorize any of the equations that come with the Bernoulli principle, but what you do need to know is a liquid that's traveling at a faster speed will have lower pressure than a liquid traveling at a slower speed. Now, if you have not had a lot of contact with how air works, air is not a gas as you might think, but it is actually a liquid. So, just to give you an example here, if you've ever been in the shower and liquid goes across your arm and it looks like you're spewing water off of your fingertips, so essentially that's what fluids like to do. Fluids like to stick to an object, right? And so because air is a liquid, it likes to stick to the surface of the wing. So, if we wanted to make air go faster, we would need to utilize some sort of force, or we could take advantage of a naturally present force that's already on the world, otherwise known as gravity, right? So as you can see from this cross diagram, this air flow is going to be traveling straight, and the airflow going over the wing is going to be going downwards at a slope. And because it's going downwards, it is going to be going faster, right? Like if you're going downhill on a skateboard, you're going to be going faster, obviously. And I'll have a diagram here that'll explain exactly what the speeds look like in a minute here. But yeah, that is the basic first property of how a wing works. So what we have here is the airfoil from last time. However, this has air streamlines going through it with air speeds indicated by color. Red indicating the slow speed, and as it descends into yellow, that is a increase in speed, and as it descends into blue, that is a much higher speed. The only confusion you may have is these orange-yellow type things. And this represents a higher speed, and this represents a slower speed from the yellow, because it is darker. With confusion out of the way, we can see that the top of the wing is going to have much more speed because it is on a downward slope, while the bottom of the wing is going to have neutral speed, and the only thing that would slow it down is the friction from the wing surface. Now, at the the leading edge of the wing, we can see that it is mostly red. And the reason for that is because it is most blunt at the front, and it's going to have the most drag. Now, if you're not familiar with what drag means, drag is the opposing force when an object moves through the air. And we'll get to Newton's third law later. But essentially, this means that there's the highest air pressure at the nose, which is going to be slowing down the plane or whatever you have on the airfoil. Now, one other interesting thing to note here is at the trailing edge where the ends meet, and just for vocab, the trailing edge is the this part of the airfoil, and the leading edge is the front of the airfoil. So, at the trailing edge of the airfoil, we can see that the slow air and the fast air combines. Now, this creates turbulent air at the back. And so a lot of people think that maybe the engine might be where the highest turbulence is. But in some cases, the trailing edge of the wing can have the most air turbulence. Now, a little fun fact, deviating from how everything works here. Turbulence is when you have uneven lift, and pockets of air are less dense than others, causing the plane that you're in to shake. So actually, there's no engine problems or wing problems. It's just uneven patches of air. So now you know how Bernoulli principles work. And if you have any questions about how any of this works, if you go down in the comments, I will try my best to respond to most and help you understand as great as possible how this works. Now we're going to move on to the second area of lift that this wing can produce. So here we have a extremely similar diagram. However, you'll notice that the bottom airflow has been removed. And we're not going to need that for this part, because we are currently going to go over Newton's third law. Now, a complicated way of saying it, which is the definition, is each action has an equal and opposite reaction, right? I'm sure you've heard that before in some man, but it doesn't matter if you've heard it before. I'm going to help explain this in a way that most people could probably understand. So I'll give you 2 examples. The first one is I would like to imagine yourself on a skateboard. You're on the skateboard and you're facing in line with where the wheels are facing, right? So you're facing where you're rolling. And you have a really heavy weight with you. And you throw it forward. Now, the weight goes forward. However, because you're on a skateboard and you're pushing something, on top of the fact that the weight goes forward, you go backwards. Now, that is an example of Newton's third law, right? Another thing is, like, if you try and push up against a wall, the wall doesn't move, right? The wall's pushing back at you, right? Let's say you're putting 5 newtons of force upon an object, and let's say that object might be a 500 kilogram weight, really heavy, not going to be moved with 5 newtons of force. It's going to exert 5 newtons in the opposite direction. So, that is Newton's third law, right? Each action has an equal and opposite reaction. So, you might be wondering now, how would that relate to how an aircraft produces lift? Maybe you already see this coming. However, on top of the fact that it reduces pressure at the top of the wing because of Bernoulli's principle and the airspeed, it redirects the airward to go down, right? And we imagine the skateboard again, right? Let's say we throw something downwards, heavy weight downwards, what's going to happen? Yeah, we're going to go up. So, there you go. That's another way that the airfoil produces lift. And you could also apply that to, how a jet engine works, right? If you're wondering how a jet engine works, it expels hot gas that is really fast out the back, and because it's throwing something at a high speed out the back, because of Newton's third law, it's going to go forward, right? So on top of the fact that you learned another way of how a wing would produce lift, you now know how, jet engines produce thrust. And it aviation, on top of the fact that it's a great subject to go into, it can help you learn about a lot of other things, right? Not just aeronautical engineering, but regular engineering as well. So, yeah. Okay, so what we have here is two of the previous airfoils, and in this section of the video, we're just gonna go over some vocab. I already went over the trailing edge and leading edge, but this is just two pieces of vocab here. So this left one, and first of all, I would like to say, for these two lines, I would recommend Googling them, because it is extremely hard to depict them in trail makers, but I'll try my best to explain them so that you know what they would look like. So on the left here, this red line, this is called the chord line. It is a straight line that goes from the leading edge, which is the front, which I mentioned earlier, to the trailing edge, which is the back of the airfoil, which I mentioned earlier, right? And it's a straight line that goes from the leading edge to the trailing edge. Now, over here, which was very hard to depict, this is the camber line. It is a line that has even thickness throughout the wing, so it's a line that matches the thickness and of the wing. So like if we went to this line here, although it doesn't, if you look up a real picture, it should have equal space from the top to the bottom of the airfoil. This isn't very well depicted here, but I would recommend Googling it to get more information on it. Yeah, so just some more important vocab that you should know. And yeah, well, ladies and gentlemen, I really do hope you learned something from this video. I personally love aeronautical engineering, and I really hope that if you watched this video and you weren't interested in planes and how they work, then you are now, and you've got a fresh start and know how lift works. This video was probably not 100% accurate, but I think this is probably the simplest and fun and great way to depict how an airfoil works in a trail maker's game made of blocks and Legos. Now, if you enjoyed this long form video and you find it educational and entertaining, that's great. You don't need to like the video, put down a comment. Only comment if you have a question or if you want to comment. A few is all that matters. And if this video has moderate success, my next video will be more complicated and helicopter related. And it's a little sneak peek, the squash plate mechanism that I made mechanically accurate. So if you're wondering how helicopters control themselves, then I'll be going over that in great detail in my next video. But I really hope you did enjoy this video, and I hope you have a wonderful day.